Good morning, friends. Sarah Witten, vocal yogi here to chat with you for Body Talk Tuesday. I had a question written into me by someone who asked or sort of shared, I am noticed that I'm gripping when I move. What do I do? So here's the deal. You can grip anywhere in your body. You could grip in your shoulders. You might notice you grip in your core. You grip in your bum or your back or your pelvic floor. It's possible to grip anywhere. So first I want to say to this person who wrote in, hooray for just noticing. That is amazing that you are present enough to your body that you can notice the gripping. That is tremendous. So yay for that. Gripping is what we would call a compensatory pattern in the body. And that just means your body's really smart. And if it doesn't have the coordination inside to move from the places that we want it to move from, another part of the body will pick up the work and do it. Easy as that. And it's not a problem until it's a problem. Most of us are pretty well compensated in our lives. No one is without compensations. So if you haven't gotten to the point of being able to notice that kind of stuff, that's really step one, because our bodies are always talking to us, and they talk to us in the language of sensation or feeling. So we have to be able to feel those sensations to know what's going on. So to do that, we've got to really slow down and go inward and listen. And that alone can be really challenging. And I will raise my hand as someone who the prospect of slowing down was not something that I particularly embraced in my life. I was not a slow down person. I was a let's go faster kind of person. And lots of people are that way, particularly when it comes to something that we associate with discomfort. We just want to be on the other side of it. We just want to be through it. So slowing down, being open to what we discover without judgment. Oh, that's hard. We have to do that. And really like being curious, being able to be like, hey, I'm doing that thing. Look at me doing that thing, without being like, crap, I'm doing that thing again. I don't want to do that thing anymore. Right? We can judge ourselves till the cows come home. Won't solve the problem. So your job, if you aren't at the point of noticing things yet, is to simply slow down enough that you can pay attention to the sensations that arise in your body. So this person has done that. And this person who wrote in said, I'm gripping in my pelvic floor. What do I do? So our next step is to notice, where in your movement does that gripping appear? Maybe it happens, and I'm not kidding, this happens for people. When you just think about moving, you will grip. You might be amazed to find that that is you, but it could be you, or it could be somewhere in the range of moving. I know people who have had an injury and literally going for a walk, they would grip in their pelvic floor because their injury was sort of to their tailbone area. And they were able to notice gripping in my pelvic floor about, 10 steps in. And then they had that data, right? We're gathering data about our sensations. So our body grips or compensates, however you want to call it, because that is the place that it feels safe, right? Our nervous system is governing all of this. So when our nervous system is probably smarter than our thinking selves are. It knows that if you let go of that grip without something to replace it, your body is probably going to be in trouble. So it's going to keep the grip until and unless things change. If you just keep moving through the grip, through the compensation, through the pain, you're never going to change. You're just reinforcing that pattern. Sometimes I use the comparison to a roadmap. So you've got a roadmap in your body of how things move. And when you continually, let's say that bringing my arm up over my head makes my shoulder hurt. Well, if I just keep doing this, what am I doing? I'm telling my brain, it hurts when you put your arm over your head. It hurts when you put your arm over your head. It hurts when you put your arm over your head. And at some point, I have to say, stop putting your arm over your head, because you can go here without it hurting. But if you go here, it hurts. Same thing. So if you can go here, let's say for whatever reason, I'm not saying that this is what happens when I put my arm over my head, my pelvic floor grips. Well, I got to figure out something else should be doing the work, right? That my pelvic floor is trying to stabilize for. But if I just focus on the fact that I want my shoulder to be stronger, I want my shoulder to be doing this work, and I probably don't even know what part of my shoulder should be working that isn't. And you don't actually have to know that. You could spend a lot of time trying to figure it out. I'm not sure there's benefit there. If you're just focusing on that part of the body that should be doing the work, as I said, it might not even be possible because you don't know. But you won't resolve that underlying pattern that's going on. And long-term resolution comes when we address those patterns. So the other part to remember is how smart your body is, right? I just talked about how our nervous system is probably smarter than our thinking mind. When you quiet the compensation, what should be working will start to work. You don't have to do more than that. And I feel like that part can bump up against some people's beliefs and their experiences where that hasn't happened for them, and it's there's often behind that they haven't slowed down enough, or they haven't been given the right inputs. But I see time and time again, I've experienced it time and time again, when you get quiet enough and you're able to go inward and you can quiet the compensation, what's supposed to be working is like, oh, I'm supposed to do this job. This part of me is supposed to work so that I can pick my arm up over my head. So what you have to do is move in a range where there's no grip. And as I said, if it's gripping just by thinking about it, you have to start to be even just like, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to breathe and notice. I'm going to breathe and notice what happens when I think. What is going on in my thinking mind when that grips? But maybe there's a range that you can move in where the grip doesn't happen. So when we move in that range where the grip isn't happening, like maybe it's up to here with my arm, no grip when I do that, I'm giving my brain the new experience of, you can move without gripping. And when you move in that range without gripping, that range becomes this range. And when you move in this range without gripping, this range becomes this range, right? We continue to grow our range when we do that. So when you find that you are gripping in your body, have a celebration first, throw some confetti for yourself because you've noticed something amazing. You have discovered a level of intelligence in your body, and that's awesome. That's amazing. It's great. We really want that to happen. I love it when clients write to me and they say, I noticed that I'm doing this. And they are apt to be down on themselves. And I'm like, that's awesome. Good. I'm glad you noticed it. Next, we've got to figure out what range you can move in without it gripping. And then commit to moving in that range. And obviously sometimes, if your pelvic floor is grippy when you're walking and you have to walk all the way from your car to the grocery store, you're probably going to observe that it grips. So you're going to want to do some movement somewhere else in your life where that gripping is not occurring. But you might be noticing the gripping occurring when you're on your mat doing things and you've never paid attention to it when you're walking or when you're, sitting and watching TV or something. So start to notice across all parts of your life, where is it coming in? And then begin to move in those ranges where there's no grip. And in time, I'm not saying it's going to be the rest of your life. It's impossible to give a time frame because everyone's body is different and responds differently. But I will tell you, I don't think it has to be a really long time. You will start to be able to move farther and more without the grip, without the compensation. It is as simple as that. So that is our Body Talk Tuesday. If you have follow-up questions on this, feel free to pop them in the comments. I will answer them as I can. And I will see you all back in here soon.